Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something from the heart. There comes a time in life when you've got to stop doubting yourself. You've got to stop standing in front of your own blessings. Too many people never reach their true potential, not because they lack talent, not because they don't have opportunities, but because they doubt who they are. Every time you question your worth, every time you tell yourself you can't do it, you're blocking what God has already prepared for you. Believe in your gift and trust that it's enough. Too often, people spend their entire lives waiting for someone else to validate them, to tell them that they're talented, worthy, or capable. But here's the truth. Nobody else can define your worth because that worth was built inside you. From the very beginning, when you were created, you were given a unique set of gifts, abilities, and experiences that no one else has. Your gift is not a mistake, it's not small, and it's not something that needs to be compared to anyone else's. The reason most people never experience the fullness of their potential is because they spend more time doubting their gift than developing it. When you keep telling yourself you're not ready, you delay the very success you've been praying for. Believing in your gift is not arrogance, it's alignment. It's understanding that what God placed inside of you is enough to carry you toward your destiny. Many of us have moments where we question our abilities, where fear tells us that we're not special or not good enough to stand out. But every great success story begins with someone who chose to believe in themselves, even when no one else did. Belief is the engine that drives success. When you believe, you move differently. You talk differently. You make decisions that reflect faith instead of fear. People who believe in their gifts don't need everyone to understand their vision because they know their purpose isn't a group project. You can't wait for the world to approve your dream before you start. You've got to trust your inner compass, even when the path looks uncertain. Every time you take a step in faith, even a small one, you strengthen your confidence in what you can do. Trusting your gift also means accepting that growth is a process. You don't have to have it all figured out right now. You might not know how every piece will come together, but that's okay. Your job isn't to know everything, it's to move forward with what you do know. So many people give up because they want perfection before they begin. But excellence is built through practice, not through hesitation. The more you use your gift, the more it develops. Think about it. When you stop using your muscles, they weaken. The same thing happens with your potential. If you keep doubting yourself, you shrink your own power. But if you keep showing up, if you keep using what's in your hands, you'll start to see progress, and progress builds confidence faster than anything else. You also have to remember that your gift doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Comparison is the enemy of confidence. When you constantly measure your journey against someone else's, you're saying your gift isn't good enough as it is. But nobody else can do what you do in the way you do it. That's your superpower. The world doesn't need another copy, it needs authenticity. When you start embracing what makes you different, you begin to attract opportunities that match your purpose. People can feel when you're genuine, when you believe in yourself, and that energy opens doors that doubt could never open. There will always be moments when it feels like your gift isn't working fast enough or producing the results you want. Those are the times that test your faith. That's when you got to remind yourself that your gift is still enough, even when it's not yet visible to others. Seeds take time to grow, but they grow underground first. The work you're doing in silence, the effort you're putting in when no one is watching, is preparing you for the moment your gift shines in the light. Don't rush the process. Stay faithful to what's inside you, because your gift is the key to the life you've been dreaming of. When you finally start believing that it's enough, you'll realize that the only thing you were ever missing was your own confidence. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Every person who ever dreamed of becoming something great has faced doubt, but not everyone lets it control them. Doubt is a silent thief. It creeps into your thoughts and convinces you that you're not ready, that you're not capable, that you're not deserving of success. What most people don't realize is that failure doesn't destroy dreams. Fear of failure does. Failure teaches, it refines, it gives you experience and strength. But doubt stops you before you even start. It makes you live in your head instead of taking action in your life. You start imagining every possible thing that could go wrong instead of focusing on what could go right. The truth is, you can recover from failure, but you can't recover from never trying. Think about how many ideas, inventions, and dreams never came to life because someone doubted themselves. The person with the talent never sang because they thought their voice wasn't good enough. The writer never published their book because they feared no one would read it. The entrepreneur never launched a business because they doubted whether they could handle the risk. And yet, somewhere out there, someone with less talent but more belief made it happen. Because success doesn't always go to the most talented. It goes to the most confident, the ones who dare to try even when they don't feel ready. Every time you let doubt win, you trade your destiny for comfort, your potential for excuses. Doubt also disguises itself as logic. It makes you overthink every decision, every move, every opportunity until you talk yourself out of it. You convince yourself that now is not the right time, that you need more money, more experience, or more approval. But if you wait for the perfect moment, you'll be waiting forever. Progress happens when you move despite uncertainty, when you trust that clarity will come after action. Every successful person you've ever admired started without having all the answers. They just believed they would figure it out along the way. That's how confidence grows, through doing, not doubting. The real problem with doubt is that it blinds you to what you already have. You start focusing only on your weaknesses and forget your strengths. You begin to see obstacles instead of opportunities. You stop noticing the progress you've already made. Doubt turns your vision small, and when your vision is small, your results are small. You can't build a big life while thinking small about yourself. You've got to catch yourself in those moments of self-questioning and replace those thoughts with truth. Tell yourself you're capable. Tell yourself you've come too far to stop now. Tell yourself that failure won't destroy you, but regret will. The words you speak to yourself matter more than any voice around you. Everyone doubts themselves at some point, even the people who seem the most confident. The difference is they don't let doubt decide for them. They move anyway. They understand that the discomfort of trying is temporary, but the pain of wondering what if lasts a lifetime. You've got to reach a point where you'd rather fail trying than live safely doubting, because even if you fail, you learn, you grow, you come back stronger. Failure becomes a stepping stone while doubt keeps you in the same place year after year. When you catch yourself hesitating, ask yourself what's worse, taking a risk and learning from it, or spending your whole life wondering what could have been. The dream inside you is not random. It was placed there for a reason. And if you keep letting doubt silence it, the world misses out on something only you can offer. Failure may knock you down, but doubt keeps you down. You were never meant to live in fear of what might go wrong. You were meant to rise, to take action, to believe that you can. So stop giving power to doubt, because every time you choose faith over fear, you move one step closer to the life you were born to live. Your journey is designed for you. Don't compare it with others. Every person walking this earth is on a unique path, and no two stories are meant to look the same. But the problem is, We live in a world where comparison has become a daily habit. We scroll through other people's lives, watching their successes, their highlight moments, and we start questioning our own progress. We start thinking maybe we're behind. Maybe we're not doing enough. Maybe our dreams are taking too long. But what we forget is that what we see in others is not their full story. We see the outcome, not the process. We see the shine, not the struggle. Every success you admire came with years of unseen effort, pain, doubt, and sacrifice. When you compare your journey to someone else's, you're comparing your chapter 1 to their chapter 20. Each of us has a purpose that unfolds in its own time. There is no fixed timeline for success, no single path to fulfillment. What's meant for you will come when you are ready for it. Sometimes the delays, the detours, and even the disappointments are part of the preparation. Life will not give you everything at once because you wouldn't know how to handle it. Growth takes time, and strength is built in the waiting. When you stop comparing and start trusting, you begin to see the lessons hidden in every season. You start appreciating where you are instead of rushing to where you think you should be. The truth is, your timing is perfect for your purpose. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. To learn, comparison steals joy because it shifts your focus from gratitude to envy. You stop noticing your blessings because you're too busy measuring them against someone else's. But gratitude is what multiplies success. When you start celebrating your small wins, when you thank God for every step forward, you create space for more blessings to flow into your life. The reason some people never feel fulfilled is because they're always chasing someone else's version of success. But success isn't about doing what everyone else is doing. It's about becoming who you were meant to be. Your calling might not look glamorous in the beginning. Your progress might not be loud, but it's real. It's building something that lasts. You have to remember that some people are ahead of you only because their season came earlier. Your season is still on its way. Just because it's taken longer doesn't mean it won't happen. The right doors will open at the right time, and when they do, they'll fit you perfectly because you'll be ready for them. Don't let someone else's success make you doubt your own potential. Use their achievements as inspiration, not competition. Let them remind you that greatness is possible, not that you're behind. Everyone has their own pace. You can't rush what's divine. You can't force what's not yours. The most peaceful people in life are the ones who've learned to trust their own journey. They understand that setbacks are setups, that closed doors are redirections, and that every delay carries a lesson. They don't waste energy wishing for someone else's life. They focus on building their own. When you stop comparing, you free yourself to grow in authenticity. You stop trying to fit in, start standing out. You start doing things not for approval, but for purpose. And when you live with purpose, everything else falls into place. So don't worry about who's ahead or who's behind. Your path was designed by God specifically for you, with your gifts, your challenges, and your destiny in mind. What's yours can never be taken away by anyone else. Focus on your journey. Stay faithful to your process, and remember that comparison is the enemy of progress. The only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday. Speak faith over fear every single day. The words you speak have power, more power than most people realize. What you say to yourself in moments of doubt, struggle, or uncertainty shapes your reality. If you keep speaking fear, you invite more fear. But if you speak faith, even when you don't yet see the outcome, you begin to attract strength, courage, and opportunities that align with belief. Life responds to your mindset, and your mindset responds to your word. Every single day you wake up, you have a choice: to let fear control you or to let faith lead you. Fear says, what if I fail? Faith says, what if I fly? Fear focuses on the obstacles, but faith focuses on the possibilities. There's something powerful that happens when you start declaring positive things over your life. When you speak words like, I am capable, I am enough, I am becoming stronger, your spirit starts to believe it. Your subconscious begins to act in alignment with those words. But when you say, I can't, I'm not ready, I'm not good enough, you plant seeds of limitation in your own mind. You end up living in the very cage you built with your words. You can't speak defeat and expect victory. You can't talk about what's missing and expect abundance. The things you constantly repeat to yourself eventually become your truth. That's why it's so important to speak life even when things don't look good. Faith isn't about ignoring reality. It's about trusting that the reality you see isn't the end of your story. Fear is a natural emotion, but it's not meant to be your guide. Fear will always whisper reasons to quit, reasons to play small, reasons to wait for the right time. But faith tells you to move even when you're scared, to believe even when there's no evidence yet. Faith isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward in spite of it. Every great person you admire had fear, but they didn't let it stop them. They spoke faith into their situations until their circumstances began to change. When you choose to speak faith, you start shifting your perspective. You stop focusing on what could go wrong and start believing in what could go right. Sometimes the reason things don't work out is because you've already spoken failure over them before you even began. You said it'll never work, and then it didn't. You said I'll never get that opportunity, and so you didn't. You said I'm not good enough, and you proved yourself right. But what if you flipped those words? What if you said I'm qualified, I'm deserving, I'm chosen for this? Even when you didn't feel like it yet, you'd start acting differently. You start walking with a different energy. Your words would fuel your actions, and your actions would create results. Faith has a sound, and that sound is confidence, conviction, and gratitude. Speak faith when you're tired. Speak faith when you're uncertain. Speak faith when the doors are closing and nothing seems to be moving, because that's when your faith is tested the most. You don't need faith for what's easy. You need it for what looks impossible. When you declare victory over your life every day, your mindset becomes unshakable. The world might say it's over, but your faith says it's just beginning. Every morning, before you face the world, speak something good over yourself. Tell yourself that today you will win, that today you will grow, that today something amazing will happen. And even when the day doesn't go as planned, keep speaking it anyway. Words create worlds. The more you speak faith, the more your world starts to reflect it. The moment you decide to use your voice to build instead of doubt, you shift your whole reality. Fear may visit, but it doesn't have to stay. Because once you start speaking faith daily, fear loses its power over your life forever. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful in life has faced failure along the way. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not luck. It's mindset. Most people treat failure like it's the end of the road, like it's a sign they weren't meant to continue. But in truth, failure is just feedback. It's a lesson wrapped in disappointment. It's life's way of redirecting you towards something better, or refining you so you're ready for the next level. If you never fail, you'd never learn. If you never made mistakes, you'd never grow. Every failure teaches you something. Success came resilience, patience, humility, and the courage to try again. We've been conditioned to believe that failing means we're not good enough. But that's not true. Failing simply means you were brave enough to try. Every successful person you admire, every business leader, artist, or athlete has a story of failure behind their success. They missed shots, made bad decisions, lost opportunities, and faced rejection. But they didn't stop. They took those moments and used them as fuel to become better. When you fail, it doesn't mean you're finished. It means you're learning what doesn't work so you can discover what does. The problem is not failure. It's how you respond to it. Some people let failure break their confidence while others let it build their character. Failure is a necessary part of the process because it strips away your comfort zone. It forces you to face your weaknesses and strengthen them. It teaches you that success isn't a straight line. It's a journey full of ups and downs, twists and turns. Every setback is preparing you for a comeback. You can't appreciate winning until you've tasted losing. The lessons you learn in failure are the ones that prepare you to handle success when it finally comes. Without those lessons, success will crumble in your hands. Failure molds you into the kind of person who can sustain greatness. Too many people quit right before they're about to win because they can't handle the pain of failure. But if you can learn to embrace it instead of fearing it, you'll discover that failure is not your enemy, it's your teacher. Each time you fail and get back up, you're proving to yourself that you're stronger than before. That's how confidence is built. Success doesn't come from never falling. It comes from refusing to stay down. Every no brings you closer to a yes. Every mistake gets you closer to mastery. You don't grow by avoiding failure. You grow by pushing through it. It's also important to change how you talk to yourself when you fail. Don't say, I'm a failure. Say, I failed this time. There's a big difference. Failure is an event, not an identity. When you separate who you are from what happened, you give yourself the space to try again. Remember that even the best fall sometimes. The most successful people are not the ones who never failed. They're the ones who never gave up. Every disappointment, every rejection, every setback is a stepping stone on the road to success. When you look back one day, you realize that the moments you thought were the end were actually the beginning. Those closed doors protected you from what wasn't meant for you and prepared you for something greater. So don't run from failure, learn from it, let it shape you, not shame you. Every time you rise after falling, you build strength, wisdom, and perseverance. Success is not about getting everything right. It's about getting up one more time than you fall. When you start seeing failure as part of the journey instead of the opposite of success, you stop fearing it and start using it. That's when true growth begins. The only limit you have is the one you set in your own mind. Most people never reach their full potential, not because life blocks them, but because their own thoughts do. The mind is the most powerful tool you possess. It can either create your greatest achievements or destroy your biggest dreams. Every breakthrough begins with belief, and every downfall begins with doubt. What you think consistently becomes what you experience. If you tell yourself you can't do something, you're right. But if you tell yourself you can, you give yourself permission to grow beyond what you thought was possible. The walls that keep you stuck are rarely outside of you. They exist in your mindset, built from fear, self-doubt, and the opinions of others. From a young age, we start collecting limits. Someone tells us we're not good enough, not smart enough, not capable enough, and we start to believe it. We begin to shrink our dreams to fit the size of our confidence. We stop reaching for more because we think we don't deserve it. But here's the truth. You were never meant to think small. You were designed for greatness, for expansion, for growth. The limits you carry are not facts. They're stories you've told yourself for so long that you've started to accept them as truth. The moment you decide to change your story, you change your life. Your reality will always reflect the boundaries of your mind. If you want a bigger life, you have to start thinking bigger thoughts. When you study the people who've done extraordinary things, you'll notice something. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They don't listen to the doubters, and they didn't let fear hold them hostage. They broke through their own mental barriers. They decided that nothing would stop them from becoming who they were meant to be. It wasn't talent or luck that separated them. It was mindset. They refused to let limits define them. They failed, they stumbled, they got rejected, but they never stopped believing in the possibility that they could rise. You have that same ability. The same power that created success for others exists inside you. It's just waiting for you to believe it. You've got to be careful about the thoughts you entertain because your mind listens to everything you say. If you keep saying, I can't, you're training your brain to quit before it even tries. But if you start saying, I will find a way, your mind starts searching for solutions instead of problems. The way you think determines the way you act, and the way you act determines the way you live. So if you want to change your life, start by changing your thoughts. When you think strong, you live strong. When you think limited, you live limited. You cannot have a limitless life with a limited mindset. Breaking mental limits doesn't happen overnight. It's a daily choice. It's waking up every morning and deciding that no matter what happened yesterday, today you're going to move forward. It's catching yourself in moments of doubt and replacing those thoughts with faith. It's surrounding yourself with people who see your potential, not your flaws. It's reminding yourself that the opinions of others do not define your worth. You have to take responsibility for your mindset because no one else can do it for you. You are the gatekeeper of your thoughts, and what you allow in will eventually show up in your life. The truth is, you already have everything you need to go as far as you can dream. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the belief that you can't have it. Once you break that mental barrier, the world opens up. Possibilities start appearing where you once saw problems. Opportunities find you because your energy shifts from doubt to confidence. The moment you stop limiting yourself, your life begins to expand in ways you never imagined. You were not created to live small. You were created to rise, to evolve, to become everything you're capable of being. The only limit that truly exists is the one you place in your own mind. And the moment you remove it, you become unstoppable.